All right, let's talk about Actionscript 3 as it pertains to mobile devices, or I should say devices that are, say, touch-enabled or have an accelerometer, maybe some sort of tablet. Pretty much a wide range of things now that Flash 10.1 is on, and you can monkey around with your fingers. It's kind of what we're looking at here mostly. So anyway, we are going to look though first, before we get into all those gestures and touches, let's take a look at how to mess around with the accelerometer, because this is one of the more fun examples, I think. And I'm going to have a start file for you. So let's go ahead and open this up real quick. And right now, the finish file and the start file are identical. So really, I'm just going to go ahead and close this one right back down. And I will work through this finished version. And then that's, of course, the copy that I'll leave for you guys. And what I've already got in here is some Actionscript that we will need later on, just importing in some extra functionality. And if you are so new to Flash that you haven't ever written any Actionscript, well, go over here to Windows and then Actions, and you'll be ready to go. But I'm assuming most of you guys are somewhat familiar. Another thing to consider early on here is this is set up kind of like a phone, or size-wise it is 320 by 480. That's the default well, iPhone, iPod Touch size, but we're really not. I don't have any specific device in mind here. Okay, and where I'm getting at is we are going to kind of use the ambiguous phone in the in Device Central. Okay, so if you're over here to Control Test Movie, in the past you've been testing. Like so, just bringing up the Flash player and exporting out an SWF. You're still going to be creating an SWF file in this case, but you are going to do so in Device Central, and that's a separate application that creates, again, like I was saying, just kind of a pseudo phone. And there's all sorts of stuff that we can play with over here, but real fast, let me go and bump this up to 100%. So I'm just going to click that little magnifying glass right there. Just like to see things as kind of crisp as possible, I guess. And yeah, let's just focus in on the accelerometer tab for right now. When I originally was playing around with this, I kept going over here to either flat or upright, and then just playing around with shaking it left or right. And I thought to myself, there's got to be some way for you to really be able to move this in all directions. And you know what? I just did not even notice that there is this little 3D axis here. And sure enough, look at this. Of course, you're not actually seeing much going on over here, but if you just focus on this part, it is moving our little virtual phone, and when we actually have some code in here, you'll see those changes take place with the ball rolling around the stage, obviously. So that is where we're headed, and let's go ahead and get that Actionscript in there. Okay, so be sure that you have this frame selected, and we're going to come down here and write var the ACC. This is going to be our accelerometer, so a variable just representing our accelerometer. We're going to write new accelerometer, and then jump down here, the ACC dot set requested update interval, and this will be a number in milliseconds that we want to update. Okay, so 50 milliseconds, that's not too many. Means we'll be speeding right along and updating very frequently. Okay, something that you could or could not write, if you're fairly confident somebody using this application is going to have an accelerometer, well, hey, enter at your own risk, I guess. You don't have to put this in here, but we're just going to write if accelerometer is supported equals true. In that case, you can do whatever you want. I mean, we could write all of our code in here now at this point. I'm not going to. Let's just put in here a little trace statement that says, yep, it has that functionality. I would say maybe more likely what you do is put something in here that says else, and then do something based on, do something different for the entire file, maybe. Show an error message. App. Get used to writing that, right? Okay, then Let's write the acc.add event listener. We're going to be, hey, look at that. We're going to be listening out for accelerometer event update. And then let's just create a little function here called on update. Well, actually, that's turning green. So let's write on acc update. And don't forget your semicolon at the end of that. Our function will now obviously be called on ACC update. Okay, so this is going to occur, or this function is going to get run every time that accelerometer updates, which, as we know, is every 50 milliseconds. So the code inside of here, inside of this bracket and this closing bracket down here, is going to show up quite a lot, okay? And you'll be able to see how often this runs, or at least get some idea, when we send a little trace statement to the output window, which is going to be, we're going to find out what the acceleration x variable is, okay? So it's kind of, it's just a number that's telling us the tilt along the x-axis, okay? And I think the best way to demonstrate that is, of course, to publish this guy out. But just let me not skip over this too quickly. This little guy right here, this could be EVT if it was, and we'd want to put that over there. Sometimes people just go with event or just an event like that. To be honest, I think it's just up to you what you want to go with, but we'll just use that simple little E right there. They're all going to represent the same thing in the end. And let's go ahead and publish this guy out. So we'll go over here to test movie, and again, we're doing this in Device Central. You can, of course, always hit the, well, if you're on the Mac, the Command key and the Enter key, and then if you're on the PC, I don't know what you would hit the hotkey to publish. No, I'm just kidding. It's I believe it's Control and then Enter. All right, so here we go. The wheel is turning there, and I don't know why I'm magnifying this. Nothing actually is going to happen right here yet, but let's go and swivel this guy around a little bit. Okay, so now we're seeing some numbers show up in the output window here. Let me see if I can bring one of these down so we can kind of get a better idea of. There we go. All right. Obviously, it's the tilt is not changing, so we're seeing the same number over here over and over again. But there we go. As soon as we change around a little bit, so it's good. Looks like the 0 point higher numbers here are the extreme. Of course, these are all negative numbers. And then if we were to start to pull this back over here to this other side, sure enough, they end up being positive again. And again, just they're all little decimals here, but that sure makes a big difference, or a big impact, I should say, when we put some mathematics in there. And actually, let me close this back up for a second. The math involved, of course, will affect the our little pinball right here, which has been named ball. And of course, if you're totally new to Flash, let's pretend that that wasn't already in there. Select this object, and we want to give it an instance name so we can communicate ActionScript to it. Okay, simple name like ball will work. And let's come back over here and type some more code. And just so that this isn't constantly showing up, let's go ahead and comment out that. And let's then write ball.x. And there's a couple ways we could write this. We could write ball.x equals itself minus, and then the equation we're going to put in here. Or you can kind of shorthand this one by putting the minus sign before the equal sign there. And then we can just cut straight to the little equation that we're going to work here. In fact, this is just going to be this part right here, okay, and we're going to multiply that by 10. All right, so remember we were getting that fraction value before, that decimal value, and that multiplication there. We'll just add a little meat to it. Then let's go ahead and just take this same line, paste it on down this way, and we shall then write y and do a plus sign right there. Do y like so, and let's see what happens. Publish it out. Device Central takes a little bit of time every time we, there we go. Okay, let me just bump this up. All right, so let's begin tilting this guy, and sure enough, a little tilt to that side moves it, moves the X over there. Oh, look at that. I don't want to get it too far out of screen here. Let's go ahead and play around with the Y, and sure enough, That's the fruit of your labor right there with those two equations. So you can see how it's moving around. And one thing we should do too is take that little shadow and have that follow along. Well, that's right, ball shadow dot x. This is going to equal ball dot x, and let's add to this maybe 20 pixels, and then ball shadow dot y. This will equal ball dot y, and let's also add to this 20 pixels, and that should shadow it basically. And by the way, the in case this wasn't obvious before, the shadow here, this little piece of artwork, does have the instance name ball shadow in there. And let's not over test this file. I'm pretty confident that'll both work and look all right. What we want to do is keep this ball on stage just in case you do happen to tilt the device, extremely to the left or right. And that's just a simple if statement here. You know what though? I like kind of typing in the middle of the screen, so let me just put some blank space down that way. Okay, so we're going to write if ball.x minus 0 is, or actually I should say, if ball.x is less than 0, then in that case we're going to make ball.x equal 0, all right? So it just keeps it from going too far off to the left side, and then we'll also put in here else if ball.x happens to be greater than the stage width, okay? And right now our stage width is 320, but that number could change if our stage was bigger, so this code could work for a different file size or stage size. And then in this case, it's just the same deal. We're just going to write ball.x equals stage width. And then we're also going to put a separate if statement down here. You want to separate these guys. If ball.y is, you know what, this is a perfect time for cut and paste. Y, another y, and then you guys guessed it, this will be height instead of width. Now we've got something that we can test. So let's go ahead and publish this out, and let's see what's going on. Okay. So I'm going to move this guy up. And our center point of this ball is centered up right in the middle of the ball. And so that's good. That's really all I'm getting at there. If you had some artwork that you needed to adjust, kind of where that central point is, it might not always be right in the center. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. But you can see that sure enough, this ball is actually it looks like it's floating because the shadow is actually the center point of the shadow probably needs to get adjusted. So that's good. We'll kill two birds with one stone here.